Puzzle Jamboree featuring drafting the Declaration of Independence. And we will turn on a YouTube channel. Just because I need something to listen to. Does this piece go here? I just thought of that while I was sitting here. No, it doesn't. It still creeps me out. Ben Franklin's face. Does that piece go there? No. Be great though if it did. Skip the ad. How did I get one like already when I just started it? Someone just come in and like it and leave? It's bizarre. Alright. Why the fuck is this not working?
Hi, welcome to the Linguist Library. I'm Emily Clarice Pessoa, and on this channel we talk about languages and literature. As you can see by the title of this video, today we are talking about my top Gothic horror classic books. Now, we took a poll a couple days ago, and this video was the one that got the most votes. So, as always, I'm going to deliver on my promise, and we are going to go over a few of the best classic Gothic horror books out there. Now, first things first, what is Gothic horror? It's really all subjective. Most genres and subgenres are all just about marketing anyway. It's just how you market a book. But if we are going to be factual, there are a few things that they all have in common. And I got us a little board because I love writing. You guys, teacher habits die hard. Old habits die hard. So,
your data is worth more than gold.
What the
and they sell it to the highest bidder. Are you protected? McAfee helps shield you from hackers,
I like
blocking
these
suspicious texts, malicious
ads.
emails, and
Let me do this. Put this on there. Should be reading right now, but long day at work. Not feeling like reading.
The first thing that most Gothic novels have in common is a decaying setting. So they're super atmospheric, and they really transport you to normally an isolated location that has, some decaying aspects to it. It might have sprinkles of the supernatural.
Turn down the volume here.
Ghosts, maybe we're talking about spirits. It has a little bit of madness. Just a wee bit of obsessive madness. Perhaps we're talking about the sublime.
There we go.
So it's something that is unknown, and it represents danger. Okay? So keep that in mind. Those are the common features that I have found most Gothic horror novels to have. Now, the reason why I love this genre is because it really interludes so well with mystery, which is the first genre that I came across and fell in love with when I was a child. So this really is something that is kind of like part of my identity. Most of my library, my home library, is dedicated to Gothic horror and mystery. So today I had to try and keep this somewhat reasonable since I don't have the equipment to make hour-long videos. I'm going to try to keep this short. So we're going to
trust me, you have the equipment to do it. You just put your camera on and just don't edit.
And
that's the key. That's the key.
Adjacent, and we're going to get to that. But let's start with...
That is always the key, ma'am.
Horror author of all time, and you may have seen...
That's going to be the back of his chair, isn't it?
Of this video. Shirley Jackson. Now, I recently
got
a
Shirley Saxon
edition by the Library of America And
Does that go there?
I have to say, I
No.
think this is so good. I'm not even trying to sell this. I don't have an affiliate link, although I could probably link it if I wanted to. I don't know if anyone buys from Amazon anymore. Do you buy from Amazon? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, I digress. So here, on this beautiful edition, as you can see, I've started reading and I already tabbed a few of the stories that are here. So I have a collection. We have a collection called The Lottery, which includes perhaps the best short story ever written in the history of the English language, The Lottery by Shirley Jackson. If you haven't read it, start there. Okay. But also there's a collection that goes with it. And then you have The Haunting of Hill House, and you have her other novel, We Have Always Lived in a Castle. And then in the back, there are other stories and other sketches. This is a recent addition to my home library, but I have to say it's probably one of my favorites. They look great on the shelf. So, yeah, highly recommend everything written by Shirley Jackson. She is the Gothic horror queen. Her prose is sublime, very much like the genre. And she herself
Maybe that goes there.
Pretty twisted life. So this feels
Like right there.
and reads very real. Very, very haunted. So
Let's go in there, buddy.
With Asana, you can manage.
I'm gonna say this is John Adams. Is that John Adams? I think it's Johnny Adams. Jonald Adams. Get these fucking ads out of my life. Get these out of my life. There we go.
Choose to lean into it.
I'm really not enjoying
Every
your
Mazda is
ad.
engineered to give you effortless control.
Well, at least she's making money on her videos.
it has certainly kept me company during this winter. How is the winter for you? I have to say, this
Awful, and it's not ending.
Coldest winters I have ever experienced. And I think I'm not wrong when I say this, but we all have a tendency to go a little bit mad in the winter.
Anyone tells you that global warming's happening, so moron.
Anyway, so
We're in an ice age and we're gonna die in ice. Well, we won't.
One of my favorite authors. Now, I have her and her sisters' entire collection here of their novels. I'm talking about the Bronte sisters.
What?
I'm going to start with Charlotte Bronte.
About
because
Barlet
she is my
Shante.
favorite. And she's also the first one that I love them all. But I think this is
Barlet
the most
Shante.
famous novel from the sisters, and I recently reread it. I have a few editions of this novel. I have a abridged edition that I have recommended on the channel in the past because I love it.
What is this?
When it comes to recommending it for children. So I have a lot of friends.
What
who
is
are mothers
this?
And the sisters and nieces and nephews. And, you want to start them early on classic literature. So the abridged version of Jane Eyre is really good because it has.
What is this? It is. What is it?
The importance of education. So I thought that was really lovely. But yes, Jane Eyre has all the good features that a good Gothic novel is expected to have. It has a little bit of the
I'd like to finish these pieces off.
supernatural, if you will. And it definitely has the
These don't seem like it goes with this puzzle.
Ocean Wars as the perfect atmospheric.
What is it?
But also, Charlotte Bronte's prose is very transcendent. I think it takes you there. Absolutely takes you there every time. Now, I have a romance subplot that most people would say this is a Gothic romance. And I have to agree. Daphne du Maurier, Rebecca. This novel follows an unnamed narrator. and funny story, Daphne du Maurier was accused of plagiarism by a Brazilian author who wrote a novel called The Successor. I won't remember her name now, but I'll put it somewhere in the picture. So this Successor is the name of the Brazilian novel that was written before this. But this is about the second wife of a gentleman, and
This is too
the
white.
first wife, her name was Rebecca. So this is about the second wife's obsession with Rebecca. It's a lot more than that. This is. I read this in one reading. It's been my favorite book ever since. It was one of the first romance novels I ever read, and I think that it really breaks all the molds. There's really not much comparable to it. It is much better than the Brazilian one, by the way. I know I'm Brazilian, so I'm allowed to say that. But I think that Daphne du Maurier has a real talent for that gothic feel. She knows how to play and how to create a crescendo with the anxiety and the fear. You know, there's really a serious build-up and a fantastic plot twist. I also recommend The Birds, which is a short story that she wrote during World War II. And yeah, really something to be read also. Now, the next author I want to talk about, I have recommended this book in the past because it's good, so I'm happy to do it again. So Oscar Wilde, The Picture of Dorian Gray, for me is one of the best gothic horror novels ever written. His lyrical prose is
Sublime.
become mainstream, humor. I think most people know what the story is about, but what would you do to stay young and beautiful? That's the thought-provoking question of this novel.
Nothing.
And I'd love to hear your thoughts if you like it. Another novel that I have mentioned in the past before, and we'll do it again. Again, this is a genre I talk about a lot. So, The Turn of the Screw by Henry James. I also recently read The Master by Colm Tobin. He's an Irish author. Happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody. This is saying it's still March, it's still allowed. But yes, so very atmospheric. The Turn of the Screw. Probably one of those short novels that you read and you spend a lot less time reading than you
There's Franklin.
Then you spend thinking about it later because it's kind of lingers. Okay, so next is Wuthering Heights, which is by my second Bronte in this list. And now this one is a classic Gothic novel. It has the decaying setting, it has the danger, and it certainly has the sublime and the supernatural. So Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights, along with her sister Anne Bronte, the tenant of Wildfell Hall. This novel in particular.
His fucking hand, is that Franklin's? Or is that Jefferson's? That looks like Jefferson's. Does it go there? Fuck no, don't. Fuck no.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, people like Geico because it's just
The
easy.
fucking lizard's
London,
back.
for example, you've got car insurance here and home insurance here. Why not? Zoop, put them together.
Zoop.
Save even more. Some things are better together, aren't they? Like tea and crumpets. You won't bundle just anything. Like, say, a porcupine in a balloon factory. Now, that'd be a mess. I mean, for starters, porcupines are famously no good in a team setting.
Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car
Oh,
insurance.
shut up.
This novel in particular is not as atmospheric, despite being set in the same location in the Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre. So the Yorkshire.
Is it Wuthering Heights or is it Wuthering?
The anxiety of the Gothic novel, and it goes so well with the madness and the power dynamics of a couple that when there's a lopsided relationship.
Fuck is this?
Right, of
Is this the
gender
table?
Stress or the reverse role as well. So thoroughly recommend The Tenant of Wildfell. Now, another novel that I have to recommend, but I don't have a physical copy of, and this one, fun fact, was the inspiration for the main character in Jane Austen's novel Northanger Abbey. So I'm talking about The Mysteries of Udolpho by Anne Radcliffe. Now, this was the Gothic novel of its time, and it's no wonder Jane Austen tried to make a parody of it because it was ubiquitous, and I think it can be considered one of the OGs. The next one on my list is The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, and this one has all of the good stuff and a bit more drama since it's set on a stage, but it's certainly a must-read on my Gothic horror list. Another one I want to talk about is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. I love this guy. He was one of the first American writers to get paid for his literature. And I think this is probably one of his most famous piece of work, but it's certainly not the only one. I really love his satire as well. If you ever have the time, look it up. But, let's stick to the theme of this video. And The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, all you need to know, this guy is headless and he's riding around on a horse. If that's not Gothic, I don't know what is. Now, another one that I want to talk about, and this one starts to bleed into mystery.
It's going right there, buddy.
Bit more than horror, is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, I have this in a interesting edition. It's a vintage edition of novels of mystery from the Victorian age, and it has a few novels that it could be considered mystery, but they bleed into horror. So you have Carmilla by Sheridan O'Connor, and you have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by R.L. Stevenson.
The hell is that? Jefferson's
The Notting Hill Mystery,
pants?
which was originally
Looks like it.
Published anonymously, but later it was attributed to. I wrote this down, but then I changed the page.
Fuck is John Adams?
Let me just
Rest of his
take a look
face.
for you. So it really feels like it's Gothic because it has the isolation and the anxiety of the Victorian novels and the prose. Okay, so yeah, it was later attributed to.
There's that fucking piece right there. Ah! You got it, Bubba.
Charles Warren Adams. So, The Notting Hill Mystery. Another story that I recommend for your Gothic exploitations. Now, I have a ton of honorable mentions that are Gothic adjacent. They don't necessarily have the decaying scenery, or they don't have one of the other aspects of what is traditionally considered Gothic. But they have that mood to them. They have that vibe, So, the first one on my list is a short story by Ursula K. Le Guin, The Ones Who Walk Away from Ornelas. Now, The Ones Who Walk Away from Ornelas is
What the hell happened to her? Oh, commercial.
Saving money feels right. Just like when things are packed tidy and tight. Get auto insurance that fits your budget and your needs. Save up to 10% when you bundle auto and renter's insurance. Get a quote today.
Shut the fuck up.
I think it's one of the darkest pieces of literature Wigwam wrote, and it's striking. I really thoroughly recommend it. The other short story that I want to recommend that has a gothic feel to them is The Alienist, Psychological Horror by Michelle Deceased. And this one really can be classically categorized as gothic, since it does have the
Does that go
isolation.
there? I don't think so.
If you've read it,
No. No.
Super interesting plot, super interesting scenario. The other short story that kind of has a gothic feel to them,
This
but
one's
not really,
gone.
not as much. It's another psychological horror. Is The Queen of Spades by
Go, go.
Alexander Pushkin.
That was close.
So this has the obsessive character, but most of its struggle happens internally. But it also has a little bit of the supernatural. So it's gothic adjacent. Wouldn't you say? And the other two novels that I have and I would like to recommend to anyone trying to start on this genre is Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Shelley. No, this is technically sci-fi because the main point of the story is the question.
It kind of looks like it goes right fucking there, but it doesn't. So
The doctor,
you failed.
Frankenstein
Maybe it goes there then.
trying to
Yeah.
play God. So, but it does have that gothic mood. So it's in the neighborhood. It's in that vicinity. And the last one that I want to recommend, other than Carmilla, which is a vampire Victorian novel with a gothic taste to it, is Dracula.
Dracula. That's where it goes right there.
So if you're into vampires,
There it goes.
that
It was Jefferson.
sort of supernatural, it's a good place to start. Now, I think I recommended all the books I wanted to talk about. I hope this was recorded because I've been talking forever. And no, but I think that's it. If you want to see anything from me, or if you have any videos that you'd like me to make, let me know in the comments. I have been posting on the second channel, posting my poetry readings. Make sure to check it out if you're into poetry. And if you want to support the channel, there are two ways that you can do that. I have a PayPal and I also have a members club. So thank you so much for staying until the end. Go check out everything I just said, including the community tab. I'm always posting quizzes and news and poetry and all sorts of things over there.
Right.
Thank you so much. I really love all the love that I received from you guys, and I really feel like this is such a great community. I really love it. I just wanted to say that. So, thank you for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Now playing in theaters. The magical musical movie event.
It's more than any of us can imagine.
Let's go! Hi, Disney's.
No one wanted to die in shelter cat, but what happened next shocked everybody. It's not going to shock me. I think it's going to shock me is the monkey. Go there. Really bizarre puzzle. And I don't know what that is in his hand, but I think it's his arm Going over to John Adams. Where's this going to go? Bruins versus Atlanta Flames. Jesus Christ, when's that from? No internet. What are you talking about? We got internet, buddy. We got lots of internet. Color is that? Burgundy. Does that go there? I'm going to say it does. Get in there. Where's this big shambalamba fuck? So that goes there. And I'm going to be wrong.
The rains fall on the red earth of East Africa each year, unfailing and regular. Pools gather into streams. Streams cascade down the mountain. The world's longest river is born. The ancient Nile begins.
I say that's that. Right there. And you're fucking wrong, dumbass. Where did that piece just go? Maybe it goes there. In retrospect, it does not. Fuck your retrospect. Denial. You're in denial. What's this, all Jefferson here? I believe it is. What is this color? Is that his coat? I'm gonna say that's his crotch area. I could be wrong though.
What is it like, this 4,000-mile valley of the Nile? The story begins in the jungle and
Denial is just a river in Africa.
hills and green fields that make up this little country in the heart of Africa.
Denial.
Always looks so cut and dried until you try to fucking put a piece there.
The bad ones are kind of fun.
This sumbitch is going in somewhere right now. Right there? No.
I need to figure out how to set up that camera.
What is that? Bone shape. Bone shape.
Can't film on this phone anymore. It's got some kind of scratching noise on it. I'm trying to get a microphone, but that doesn't help. I don't know what it is. Or if it's the live stream. I don't know.
From Uganda, the Nile continues on north. The Sudan is about a quarter the size of the United States, but with a population of only 10 million people. Geographically, it is divided between the desert of the north and the savanna lands and
There it is, right fucking there. Alright.
farmland of the southern Sudan.
Getting closer. I guess I'm just going to concentrate on these pieces now because it's kicking my ass. It sure looked like it was going to fit there. Very disappointing. How about this sumbitch right here? Yeah. Yeah.
As we determine wealth in dollars, the Dinka measure theirs in pounds. Other Dinka live much of their lives in dugout canoes and swamps by the river.
I was a billionaire.
They're not out of the Dinka are driven by love and fear.
It looks like.
Elephants can move. They need a river. You have to move to the Nile.
Though most Dinka still live for the centuries,
Why
they're coming also to the southern
can't I
Sudan.
find this fucking piece?
Many Dinka children now attend school
Dinka
for the
dinka.
first time, where they learn to read and write
There's no way that goes there.
and prepare
No
for a
fucking way.
primitive kind of life.
Give me the hump piece. There it is. Right there. No, it isn't. It's fucking owning me.
At the center of the southern Sudan. The Nile begins to have real importance as a waterway. Critical means of transportation to areas further north. Not many miles from Juba, the stern wheelers encounter a huge area of swamp known as the Sud. For hundreds of square miles,
That's going right there. Yeah, again, you're wrong. Again, you're wrong. Okay, so where's this going?
When I was the live surfing, that meant like
Let's say.
I thought it meant I, like me, like the people showing up talking about yourself with their
until it reaches Khartoum, the capital of the Sudan.
Say that goes there. Maybe.
Source of the Nile.
Possibly. For sure. What is this piece? I'm getting close to John.
They were slain over the days when their country was ruled jointly by Britain and Egypt. When their presidential palace
they just glossed
occupied
right
by a
over that.
British governor general.
Arabs were brutal slave owners.
The
I still
continued
are.
friendship of the Sudan with the Western world has helped give this country security and stability unequaled among
Oh, is that the table? Goddamn right, that's the table.
It's really disgusting.
agriculture is the basis of the Sudanese economy, dependent almost completely on the Nile. Because in much of the country, there's almost no rainfall. Dams spanning the Nile hold back vast quantities of water, and from lakes created by these dams, irrigation canals lead off into a network of waterways stretching across millions of acres of fertile land.
Where's this gray motherfucker? Right there. That's where that gray motherfucker is. You're wrong. You're wrong.
That's the name of the book, The White Line. Pretty sure. Pretty sure that's the name of it.
For a few months each year, comes down in a torrent from the mountains of Ethiopia.
Started reading the Jungle Book.
I'm gonna say that's part of that.
95% of Egypt is arid.
Under the table.
The only habitable has been a narrow strip of
That's under the table. Where the fuck is the table? Right there's the table.
It is on this strip, only a few miles wide, that Egypt's 24 million people fight out the daily battle for survival.
I bet it's got a lot more than 24 million now.
The fertility of Egypt, a land with almost no rain, depends entirely on water drawn from the Nile by a variety of means. Farming is also the basis of Egypt's economy. As in the Sudan, cotton is the most important crop. Sugar is also grown.
Sugar.
So that's got to be Jefferson's face, right?
You're my butterfly.
So I'll assume this goes up here.
Grape, peaches, and other fruits.
Oh, guess what? I got cherry. Cherry seedling.
About there. Hell yeah, there's Jefferson's face. It was his face, it just wasn't the one I thought it was. It wasn't what I thought it was. How about this?
I got some Montesino cherry.
Women and girls are seldom seen outside the house.
And
Looks like a fucking buckle right there.
like those going, but then I have another.
Shoe buckles. Where'd it go? Right there.
Just because maybe not all of them.
As their little lambs
Oh,
domestic animals are kept tethered near the house, and their feed brought to them. Since ancient times, the task of raising water to irrigate their fields has preoccupied Egyptians. And today, irrigation is still the key to life.
just for that.
Like those in Uganda and Sudan,
It's like
which
nothing.
drain the Nile from rushing to waste in the Mediterranean.
That'll do.
In southern Egypt, work progresses on a vast new dam that will ultimately water all of the Nile. They are swam high dam, built by Russian engineers and machinery, and
Some
costing
sauerkraut.
That's gonna go right there.
Really on a
The
sauerkraut.
high dam will bring under cultivation 2 million acres of now useless land and provide new farms for 5 million acres. Power from the high dam will meet the increasing demand for electricity among Egypt's expanding industries.
You son of a bitch. That's going right there for sure.
tons of molten steel, which symbolized Egypt's industrial revolution.
That believe goes down there.
Typical industries include chemical factories, producing fertilizers for Egyptian farms. Textile mills, and
Fucker.
miles of thought.
About right there. No.
Turn all the lights on
Most industry is centered around Cairo on the Nile.
so that somebody's watching.
No, that's going the other way, you fucking idiot. Yeah, you go there. Do you go there? I think you do. I think you do. No, I don't think you do, actually. How could you? Yeah, you do. Ain't that a son of a bitch? It's an absolute sons of a bitch. Like I said, whoever fucking designed these puzzles is a bastard. Is a bastard. A piece like that should be easy to find, but I don't see it anymore. There's that goddamn table. How about you right there? No. No. You gotta go up here though, don't you, Bubba? You got to. You got to, buddy. Eventually you got to. What the fuck is this? So when does that end? There's the table. Let the fucking table go right there. Negative. But we get all these little pieces right the fuck out of my life. That'd be great. Go ahead, get out. You got no purpose here. Give me space to breathe here, motherfucker. believe that's right there. So we're going to try to build onto this. Is this possibly going here? Is it? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, that solves some problems. That's negative. 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 Where the fuck is all that shit? In front of atoms? Was that Franklin? Papers in front of his face. Very well could be the papers in front of his face. Since I'm colorblind as fuck. But, yeah, kind of looks like it, don't it? But then again, it doesn't look like it either. Inclined to think it's not that. Yeah. Going right there, bastard. I see you. It's going right up there. Jefferson's face.
Any products like
Fuck, can I find that piece?
oh no, is the stereo dying?
Alright, you're going down. See what else we got here. There you go. That was simple.
Hi, Internet. It's Emily SW.
Sam,
And we are coming at you with another episode of the Podcastle. This time for a novel, a long-form geek love by Catherine Dunn.
this is our second foray into the 1980s.
Yes,
Foray,
almost
huh?
the 90s. This was published in 1989.
But I have a thought.
Mhm.
I don't think this book is comparable to Nights at the Circus.
No, there are definitely similarities, but like it's about freaks at a circus.
That's true. I was thinking more about the content compared to Victorian writing. It led me thinking about movies from the 80s. Things in the 80s were very gritty.
Yeah.
There are things in this book, also in Nights at the Circus, like words that they use, things that they describe.
Yeah.
Very open about sex and bodily functions, all kinds of curse and crude words that the Victorian would never dare to put to paper.
Oh god. Yeah. Well, the story in Geek Love, like they never specify a time.
You going in there,
Geek Love was,
motherfucker?
like, their TVs.
It sure don't look like you're going in there.
Electricity. There's no internet.
How about this way then?
But like if this was published in that year, where the internet was widespread.
Yeah, so I think it is contemporary.
Yeah, that's kind of was also what I took it as. So that is also another big difference because Knights of the Circus was written in the 80s, but it's set.
Yes, that was set in the Victorian era. But I was just thinking it's a really funny comparison because most of what we read here is
It's going there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And we've read pre-Victorian stuff too.
Yeah,
Like except for the late
the
18th
1700s.
century and the first half of the 19th century.
Mhm.
You definitely see the difference.
Where's
in
that goddamn table?
Well, and this, I think Geek Love, and we'll get into this, but Geek Love is much more about the freak show aspect of the circus, whereas Knights at the Circus, well, yes, Fevers did have, her wings, and she did spend time in that one brothel with the other quote-unquote freaky people. But a lot of that book was also just about, like, clowns, the trapeze act. Like, it wasn't really about people who had physical differences or whatever, whereas this book kind of deliberately focuses on quote-unquote deformities, freak show, kind of sideshow type things.
Yeah. This, I think, is also important to make the distinction. Knights of the Circus is about a circus, and Geek Love is about a carnival.
Yes, that's true.
So they are similar but different forms of show.
Yeah, and I do also think the fact that this is set in America, written by an American author, and Knights of the Circus was set in the UK, written by a UK author.
Did you just say written?
American author. Okay, so just a little
That's
bit
fucking
about
embarrassing.
Catherine Dunn. She was born in 1945, passed away in 2016. This book came out in 1989. She did not actually publish a lot of books. She did, however, prolifically write about boxing. This fascinated me because her background, she was a novelist, she worked as a journalist, she did voice acting, she was a radio personality, worked in book reviews, stuff like that. And she got into writing about boxing at her journalist job. It was like assigned to her, and she really liked it. And so she got so into it. She was prolific. She wrote so much about it. She was very well respected. She wrote a book about boxing that is called, it's something like The Magic of the Ring. Like it's a circus pun because you box in a ring. Yeah, that just kind of amused me. She only had 3 published novels in her lifetime. This was the most successful one, and it was also the last one. There were 2 that came before this in the 70s, which are actually kind of hard to track down. Really? Because I went into the library catalog, and so Attic was her first novel that came out in 1970, and Truck came out in 1971. And I can get my hands on a copy of Truck pretty easily, but Attic is nowhere in the library catalog. So I'm sure I could track down a copy either through WorldCat and get it from outside where we live or find it somewhere else. But that was interesting to me because Geek Club is still in print. It's never been out of print. Very successful book, over 500,000 copies sold.
That's kind of impressive considering I never even heard of it until I was looking for books to fit our theme.
Yeah. But it was just really fascinating to me that she could be so successful with this one book,
Aye.
her boxing writing, but her other 2
Let me guess. You fucking go on top of this one.
Called Toad.
Let me guess.
In the 70s, but this was not published until 2022.
Did you read
Shocking.
the synopsis of Attic at all?
Not of Attic. I read the synopsis of Truck, and that seems to be like.
Let me guess. This piece of shit goes here.
Alright, here's the
Fuck you.
synopsis for Attic.
This
A
is
young woman
stupid.
named Kay has joined a cult-like
Stupid,
organization
stupid,
that
stupid.
sells magazine subscriptions in small towns.
Stupid fucking
When
people.
Kay tries to cash a customer's bad check, she lands in jail.
Yikes.
That's it. That's basically the whole book.
Well, okay, that's kind of
So it's
intriguing.
about an MLM.
That's amazing.
So what is this?
The synopsis of Truck, it's just like a coming-of-age novel. This girl like runs away from home and meets some people, and it seems to be about like sex.
I guess that's his.
Yeah, everything else I've read so far.
Yeah, like it just not necessarily about sex, but like just from what I was reading, it as a coming-of-age novel written in the 70s about a young woman. So Attic and Truck came out in the early 70s, and then Geek Love she actually worked on for a long time. She started working on it in the 70s, and she visited a rose garden in Portland where the idea was born, which makes a lot of sense because that's, Papa's rose garden.
Oh, look, it stopped. Oh, there you go. Are you gonna fit there, fuckface? I think you are. Really like to fit this fucker in somewhere here. And it might just go right there, actually. Right fucking there. I was shocked that they blend those together. That's fucking criminal, but they did it. I'm proud of them for doing it. That fucker's going right there. Thank you. Where's this son of a bitch go? There's that piece. Oh. Let's go in there. Faux show. Wonder why these pieces are so fucking hard to find. Right there. No. Fuck is this? Why, Jefferson? Why? Put this fucker up here before it gets lost. Pretty sure that goes on his sleeve over there. But I can't find where exactly. Oh, God damn it. Looks like it would go there, but of course it doesn't. Just don't get why each piece is so hard to find. They seem so obvious.